Good evening, everyone, and it's now time for another edition of the Pacelli Basketball Coaches Show with Rick Behringer, your play-by-play announcer for all Vikings and Lady Vikings basketball all season long. You can catch the action right here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. I'm with Athletics Director Pacelli and head boys basketball coach, Coach Corey Black. Coach, thank you so much for joining us again.
Thank you.
All right, Coach, let's go ahead and get into your AD job because we have some great news that we're going to put out there for all you Vikings fans. Heck, for anybody around the city. Tell everybody what just happened this past week with Pacelli Wrestling.
We just won back-to-back state championships in wrestling in our duels in the GIAA. Proud of them. Coach Anderson and Coach Nugent, other Coach Nugent, we got a wife and a husband and a son that all coaches together. So proud of them, all the work they have done. They started from the bottom, literally, building up this program. And for them to go out down two of their better wrestlers to go out there and still win the state championship is unremarkable. So I'm proud of them.
Well, Coach, that's my question as an AD. I know you're happy when the big sports, the basketball, the baseball, the footballs, you want them to succeed. But there's many other sports that you got to make sure get the exposure and the limelight they deserve. And many other of the sports that are played here at Pacelli win championships.
No question.
We talked about flag football, but now wrestling winning. To see that it doesn't matter what sport it is, the expectation, the level, the standard is all the same.
Yeah, and here at Pacelli, we all are big sports. You know what I mean? We're not a big school where this sport is bigger than others. So that's what makes it special here. Everybody gotta show up, gotta compete, and try to win it all and do what's best for the student athlete. So yeah, wrestling, flag football we done started the year off pretty strong. So that means the pressure is on everybody else now to try to continue to get it done.
Yep. Well, congratulations again to Pacelli Wrestling winning back-to-back state championship. That is not an easy feat to accomplish, and now he's starting to set the precedent, maybe a dynasty in the wrestling. And again, I love hearing stories. Started from the bottom, work your way up to the top, and now you get that thing rolling. You can win many state championships, and we hope that for Pacelli Wrestling. Let's talk now boys basketball, Coach. 11-5 on the season. Last time Georgia Alabama Sports Live broadcast game was a Sandy Creek game, and excellent game that came down the wire. A few possessions here or there. Honestly, Pacelli's probably going to beat one of the top teams in the state, and that was really impressive to go in Sandy Creek's home and only lose by 7. You were only down by 3 with a couple minutes left in the game. But you dominated Westfield, and then you took care of business against Douglas County, who's a really good program. So what did you learn about your team this week, Coach?
Well, this week we learned that we could play without one of our better players. Jaden Ford, he's been hurt this week. So we've been playing without him. We played without him against Westfield, and we also played without him against Douglas County. Then in Douglas County game, we learned that we could play without 2-point guards because we put Deuce in his spot, and Deuce got hurt in the Westfield game. So at that point, we had to went to our third point guard option, which was Christian Brown, which had to step in there yesterday, and him and Trent Latham both had to play the point guard and combine duties and did a good job. Going into Atlanta on a Saturday night at Douglas County is not an easy thing to do, to go and play against a 6A school Saturday night in Atlanta. But they rose up to the challenge and filled those gaps. And that's what we've been saying this whole time, is we need other kids to step up. So here's what the good Lord did. He said, okay, y'all don't want to step up. I'm going to make you step up. I'm going to take Jaden Ford out the lineup, and now somebody else is going to have to play. So we're going to have some other kids step up, like Michael Rowe. Michael Rowe has stepped up in the last 2 games, been really, really good for AZ. Then raised this game a little bit. TJ Smith then raised this game a little bit. So it's helped us the last 2 games with Jaden being out.
Yeah, and you mentioned Douglas County again, a 6A school, Coach, who was 10-7 heading into this game. They were 3rd in their region. To go on the road and still beat them, I know that's going to make you proud, especially when you don't have Jaden's Ford. That's 20 points a game you're missing, Coach. The guy that pretty much handles the ball-carrying responsibilities to see. And then you lose Deuce, who's supposed to be the backup. So now Christian Brown's got to step up. Latham, I mean, when you're seeing these guys get playing time and starting to build confidence, especially when you start playing games like in the state, when it seems like the rim starts to shrink and scoring becomes really hard, to know that you can rely on these guys, I know that's got to make you feel good, especially you head towards state championship.
Yeah, that too. And when you lose 20 points a game, that means your defense got to go up to a whole nother level.
Good point.
So when your defense goes up to a whole nother level, it keeps you in some in some games that you don't supposed to be in. When you go on the road, like yesterday, we went to Douglas County, we shot 3 for 18 from the 3. And the night before at Westfield, we shot 2 for 20. So it all goes back to defense this time of year. You're not going to make shots like you've been making all year because you're tired. You're traveling every night, basically. So you got to rely on your defense, and our defense has been on another level for the last 2 nights.
Yeah, I've been impressed. And I'm even going further than that. I wouldn't say Sandy Creek. A lot of their points came in transition because of turnovers, Coach. Because you don't have those turnovers. Your half-court defense did a really good job. And then you dominate Loganville Christian, who, again, is one of the favorites to make it to the state championship. But let's talk about Jaden Ford. You just mentioned that he was out this past week. Do we expect him to be back against a big-time rivalry on Tuesday, or are we still going to wait and see when it comes to his injury?
We're going to wait and see how it goes. It's not that serious to play Tuesday. We're going to do the best interest of the kid. If he's healthy, he's ready to go, he'll play. If we don't feel good about it, we won't play him. It's no big deal. Yeah. We got a really good roster. We got a lot of players on our roster that can play. We'll be fine without him. Yeah. We'll see. It'll be a game time decision.
You don't need to rush him back because then you don't want to be injured long term.
Right.
So
we need him for February and March more than Tuesday.
Yeah. And mentioning Tuesday is Brookstone. I know that's a rivalry game, but it's just another game on your schedule, Coach. I know everybody, me and Bryant were talking about, everybody's asking, what about Brookstone? You ready for Brookstone because of the rivalry with that? But in your mind, does it feel like I'm not saying it's not a rivalry, but do you focus it on it being, hey, let's really get up for this game because it's Brookstone, or do you treat this game just like you do the rest of the schedule?
No, it's it means a lot to our school, our fan base. Right. It means something. You need to beat Brookstone. Just that simple. You know what I mean? We have been successful here lately, winning that game, but you got to be locked in. You got to be mentally locked in. But you know what? The difference this year compared to other years, feel a little bit better about it because of our schedule that we didn't played. We didn't play in a lot of good programs, so if we just mentally locked in, do it how we supposed to do, we should be fine Tuesday. And you don't have to, this is Brookstone. Yeah. It's going to be a good basketball game. I'm ready for the atmosphere. I hope the land be sold out. I hope everybody in the city come out and watch it. Carl Ivey does a great job at Brookstone. Yeah. And he'll have his guys ready to play. We'll have our guys ready to play. Whoever can get stops, whoever makes shots, that's who's going to win the game. Simple as that. Yeah,
Brookstone 3-1 in the region, 12-7 overall this year. Coach Ivey in his first season. You see those guys play tough-nosed defense. They bind to what he's saying. It's going to be a really good game, and looking forward to it on Tuesday. Georgia Alabama Sports Live will, of course, be there for that one, boys and girls. And then you got Thursday, 3 games this week. Actually, 4 games this week, excuse me. You got Brookstone, and then you got to go on the road to Heritage, who's the top team. If you put all the classifications together, it'd probably go Pacelli Heritage, 1A, 1B.
Really, Heritage, Pacelli.
Yeah, because
with the rankings right now.
Good point. Especially, and I think also too, you played a little bit tougher schedule than they have. But they've got some big time wins. They're a really good program. You know their coach very well. Going up to Heritage, this is a reschedule from last week because of the weather. What do you expect with that one, Coach? It's a big one.
Oh, Lord, that's going to be a tough game. Going to Heritage is always tough. Coach Jerome at Heritage does a great, unbelievable job. One of the best high school coaches in the state, any classification. I got a lot of respect for him. He'll have his guys really prepared. We're going to have to be locked in, getting back on that bus for the 100th time it feels like this year. But we should be ready. It's going to be a really good basketball game. Heritage is going to have a really good fan base in there. It ain't easy winning on the road, and it's definitely not easy winning at Heritage. So we're going to have to be locked in, and some kids are going to have to be ready to play.
From there, then you go back to home against St. Mary's, who you've dominated, and I've already played once earlier this year. You probably could have put 150 on them. So from St. Mary's, let's go to Saturday. You're going to travel to a 4A school that's ranked number 2 or 3 around there, number 3 in the state, 17-2 Baldwin. Now, this is just me, Coach. I understand the other ones, but then putting this in the middle of region play,
it's crazy.
I mean, after you last 2 weeks ago going to Sandy Creek, why did you want to schedule this game against Baldwin?
I have no idea. I don't know. I can't say that on live. But, it'll be a challenge for us, because, you look at some of our region opponents. Yeah. No disrespect. It's a way to keep our guys, locked in, keep them mentally locked in through some of these games that we can win by large margins. you never know. You need that challenge just to keep you on the feet. But why I schedule this game, I don't know. Thrift. Many call coach here in a few minutes, say we're going to get out of that one. Not sure yet.
No, I can't wait for it. And then, of course, next week you got at Strongwalk. You still got Heritage at home. You're playing in Phillips Arena against Greater Atlanta Christian. That's going to be an awesome experience. Westfield at home, at Brookstone, then in the season, Strong Rock. So 10 more games still left on the schedule, Coach. You're 11-5. You're about, I would say, about that, a little over the halfway point. What are some things you would like to improve on as a team as you get ready for second part of February heading into March, state championship run?
Well, I think we started, we've been preaching about it for the last 3-4 weeks. This weekend we actually had to do it. Play without Jadens. Somebody else step up and score that Jaden's not scoring. The next person up. That's what I want to improve on, and I think we done did a good job of it. A couple more games of playing without him will help us. Like when he went down, I told our team, this really is a blessing because we're going to have some other guys step up. And they have, and I knew they would. They just needed the opportunity and be put and forced in that position to do it. So I just want to see them keep growing, see our defense keep getting better. We need to limit our turnovers. We still turn the ball over entirely way too much. Just unforced turnovers that bother me. We need to get better at the free throw line. 3-point shooting not very good right now. We're shooting 32% as a team. That's not good enough. So we need to get to the basket. We need to make our free throws, and we need to get in that gym and get some extra shots up. TJ Smith should be in there right now working on 1,000, and I just need a couple more guys to get in there with him and get the reps up. So here late in February and March, they'll make those shots.
Well, we are excited about this upcoming schedule. Strong Rock is a really good program in your region. I'm looking at their boys. They're 15-2.
Yep.
Yeah, I just mentioned Baldwin. They're 17-2. Heritage, you're about to face them. They're 15-2. I mean, you're talking about some elite teams in GIAA and the GHSA. Greater Atlanta Christian, they're a 6A school that is 15-3. So, Coach, your team's definitely going to be battle tested as you head into, and by the way, they are playing in the region tournament this year, so that will be the week after February 10th. It'll be held at Heritage School. Georgia Alabama Sports Live will be there for that. All right, Coach, thank you so much. Any words or anything you want to say to all the fans, supporters out there about Pacelli basketball?
No, just want to say thank you to everybody that supports you. I see your texts, I see your posts, I see your likes, I see all of that. Appreciate you. Thank y'all for everything y'all do for us, and go Vikings.
Yep, go Vikings. Look forward to another big week. Tuesday, Brookstone and Pacelli, Georgia Alabama Sports Live. We got Bryant Thomas, the girls coach, coming up next right here on the Pacelli Basketball Coaches Show on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Welcome back, everyone. The Pacelli Basketball Coaches Show right here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. I'm with Bryant Thomas, who has just done a great job with the Lady Vikings here in his second season at the helm. They're 10-4 on the season. In the last 4 games, they've beaten Loganville Christian, at Sandy Creek, at Westfield, and then at Douglas County. And all 4 of those games are about double digits and close to 20 points. You were beating them by 20 points or more. A big win. I know beating Douglas County and Sandy Creek, those are big wins, Coach, because those are public schools. You know, anytime a private school beats a public school, that's a big win. Yeah. But Westfield, a team that made it to the Final Four last year, swept y'all, beat you both times home and away to go into Westfield, who pretty much brought back their entire team from last year, missing 1 or 2 players. You know, won by 23 points. How excited were you with that victory against Westfield and learning about your team?
Oh, very excited about that one. Big region win for us. Man, it was a close game in the first half. We battled. We played a different style. We learned that we could play a different style of basketball. And we had a lot of kids step up in a lot of different ways. And, you know, the second half, we locked in. And defensively is what got us that lead.
Yeah.
So defensively and taking good shots, moving the basketball, we work inside out. Traditionally, that's not what's happening no more. Everybody run and shoot threes.
Yeah.
I want to say we probably shot 13 threes that game. We worked inside out. We played a different brand of basketball and chipped away and got the lead, and we kind of took it away from there.
And, Coach, you said this off air to me, and it was to my delight hearing this, that one of the main reasons you beat Westfield was the play of Ivana Thomas, who's starting to come in her own. And now the scoring's taken a little while. Obviously, she's trying to get in basketball shape, knocking off the rust, but she came up big for you against Westfield and Douglas County. How's her progression in your eyes, Coach?
Her progression is coming along. I mean, the way she played, I mean, they had the double, so it created opportunities for kids like Kamora to get wide open shots, Grace Smith to penetrate. Took some of the pressure off Michaela Hosley. Tamaya Ransom was able to go eat on the offensive rebounds. So her scoring wasn't there, but her presence was there. So that's what gave us everything that we needed to seal that deal against Westfield.
10-4 on the season. 1-0 in region play. Hadn't played many region games. They're coming up here in the next couple of weeks, Coach. And we talked about this too. Improvement-wise, I know everyone sees the talent on this team, and they don't realize, Coach, I don't even think you have a senior on the team. And if you do, you're only, what is it, 1 or 2? Am I correct?
No
There's no seniors on the team, so you're a young team
Yes.
that does make some mistakes. So what would be some of the things you would like to improve on as you get ready for what could be a potential, say, championship run?
Turnovers.
Yeah.
You know, understanding possessions, valuing the basketball, understanding when to take a shot, when to get into something. I think that's one of the biggest things I've been preaching to the girls is, hey, we can get that shot anytime we want to. Let's make the defense come out and play. Let's execute. Let's go past the first option. Let's get to the second and third option. Because, hey, once we get late into the season, sometimes it's not going to be about the X and O's. It's going to be about who really wants it. So, and we got to make the right decisions on those type of plays.
And you're seeing the improvement and the sloppy turnovers that are starting to get better as, you know, the extra passes, all the stuff that you've been working on for a while. But, you know, when it gets to game time, it's like everything you've been working on, all the plays, it goes right out the window. It's just play ball 100 miles an hour as you're trying to slow them down, which you've done a really good job at, Coach. All right, Brooks,
it was a good piece. Look back at the report on Westfield. We only had 7 turnovers.
Wow.
So we can
especially
do it.
on the road too in that environment.
We can do it. It's just sometimes we get to a pace. We go back to our younger self.
Right.
We can take care of the basketball if we decide to do it. Sometimes it becomes about let me get a bucket, let me do something special. So
I think
we can do it.
I think a great point, Coach, that you can always refer back to, because if you start turning the ball over, hey, we only had 7 at Westfield. There's no excuse at home we should have 15, 20 turnovers. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but you can always refer back to that. Hey, I know what you're capable of. This is how we got to play every day. Brookstone 9-8. Then you play Heritage, who's undefeated, 14-0. They're really good girls program, and then Baldwin. Their girls are 17-2, so both their girls and boys are 17-2, ranked top 5. Heritage girls also ranked in the top 2 in the GIAA 3A. That's a tough gauntlet, Coach. Just like the same thing I said with Coach Black. What are you trying to learn from your team this week? And talk about that matchup with Brookstone and Heritage specifically, because those are region games. What do you got to do to make sure you can go 2-0 against them?
All right, well, Brookstone, we know Kim. She's going to have her team ready. She played in state championship last year. A lot of those girls played in that state championship. So they're going to come in and be ready. But for us, we got to continue to do what we've been doing. We have played a tough schedule, so it's about us just executing, playing good defense, taking good shot selection, take care of the basketball. And, hey, Kim going to have those girls ready to come in and play against us. It's going to be a big environment, so we know what we got to do. So.
And what about Heritage? Undefeated, Coach.
Heritage undefeated. Coach Stevens been doing a great job. He actually came and watched us against Northgate. We sat and talked, and, I mean, he does a great job. They lock in, very good help side defense, communicate. So this is going to be one of those games where our athleticism, we just can't use our athleticism. We're going to have to think a little bit, or we're going to be in foul trouble. Going into Heritage, tough place. Tough place.
And you're not getting no calls.
Hey, we already know it, and, you know, so we have been to different places. We have seen all types of officiating. So we're starting to understand, hey, whatever the officiating is, we can adjust. So we have been doing pretty good at that. So we know going into Heritage, we know how big the Brookstone game is first. And then once you take care of that, how big this Heritage game is, because that'll put us up top, because that's a huge, that'll be huge for us because, hey, we're trying to win the region this year.
No doubt about it, and we're excited. As you're talking about Ivana Thomas, Grace Smith, Michaela Hosley, all these girls that are coming on strong. Tamaya Ransom, who I think is really the unsung hero because she does all the little things, Coach. She's maybe not a dynamic scorer, but she doesn't need to be with your team. No. You need her to play great defense, get rebounds, finish off the after getting rebounds, doing putbacks. Is she doing everything you thought she would do, and how has her improvement been from year one last year to this year?
Well, I tell you like this, after the game against Westfield, Coach came to us and said, I didn't really have her on the report for her rebound and her scoring. So Tamaya Ransom, I think, against Westfield, she had 13 rebounds.
God.
7 of them was offensive rebounds, putbacks, and ones. I think she finished with 11 points. So Tamaya Ransom is really the X factor for us to get us going. She's the motor. Coming off the bench, she don't really wants to start, but she asks why, you know, she doesn't start. She doesn't want to. She want to come off the bench. So it actually helps our team because, hey, we got energy coming off the bench. So that's what's making our team a little bit deeper.
Yeah, and Coach, sometimes players do a better job seeing how the game is before they get in. Not all players, but some players, and she's one of them.
Yeah.
She likes seeing how the flow is, how the officiating's going, and then she comes in already prepared to take advantage of it. And like you said, it's good to have knowing if you need to go to your bench, someone gets in foul trouble, you can pull her off, and she's going to give you 11 and 13 like you were talking about. Yeah. Big week this week again for the Lady Vikings. Looking forward to it Tuesday, Brookstone. So thank you to Coach Corey Black, Coach Bryant Thomas, and Roger Beck here in the Beck Center. I mean, it is incredible what Pacelli has on this campus. I mean, this is one of the most top-notch facilities that I've ever seen. If you want to experience it, if you have a child or a student or someone potentially that wants to go to Pacelli, I promise you they'll give you a tour. They'll let you see this, a part of everything else that's going on great here at this school. So thank you so much for everyone at Pacelli, including Roger Beck, for allowing us to be here at the Beck Center. Pacelli Basketball Coach Show is going to end now. We got the Georgia-Alabama Sports Live Show coming up next. Richard Holdridge, we got some rankings we're dropping. Let's see who's going to ruffle some feathers, baby. We got some great basketball around the Tri-City area. We're going to talk about that and more coming up next right here on the Georgia-Alabama Sports Live Facebook page and YouTube channel. Thank y'all so much, and we'll see you Tuesday against Brookstone, 6 o'clock right here on Georgia-Alabama Sports Live.